Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the sixth episode of the HaloRuns Podcast. So let me switch over. And yeah, welcome. Here today we have our co-host of the day, BatChat,
Yeah, this
and
time co-host. No interviewer.
yeah, and for our interview today, we're going to interview the one and only Gelk who got into SGDQ 2023. So shout outs to him. And yeah.
It's popping.
We want to find out a little bit more about Gelk. Obviously, he was accepted because he was a D1 athlete, and organizations really like that.
Yeah.
But many people don't know who he is, so we're gonna ask him some questions today.
Yeah, so right here we have his player card. You can see his main game is Halo 3. I believe that's pretty much the main speedrun that he does. And yeah, primarily legendary as well. So if you want to go into some of your backstory, Gulk, feel free.
Yeah, so I started running in March of 2018, so I just hit my 5-year HaloRuns anniversary, so it's been ridiculous. It's already been that long. So yeah, and I got into it when MCC didn't even exist, so started the game on OG, and that was an experience. So I'm really happy this game exists on PC now because I am a garbage can on a controller.
Wait, are you saying you got into it before like MCC 2014, or just like you were PC only, so you
Or
couldn't?
the PC release. I never even owned an Xbox One, so I just played on the OG version.
Okay. I do remember kind of when you started coming into the Discord, uh, being all into the DC launching and like how it's a little different how to work it on PC. That's one thing I vaguely remember from back then.
Oh yeah, that's like when PC first came out. I was messing with it a lot because that's when we figured out the DC launches were broken. And I thought I was just bad at it, but the DC launches were in fact broken. So that was a bit unlucky, but they're fixed now, so that's good.
All right. Well, so were you like following the intended release of MCC PC and like, I'm getting into it once this drops, or and when did that coincide with you noticing the speedrunning scene?
So I got into speedrunning, I think, because of Garish's run at SGDQ. I was like, I want to try something like that. And I actually originally got into CE runs. So my first trick that I ever learned was the broken door skip on TV, and I tried learning
No way.
C a little bit. Yeah,
That's actually really interesting.
yeah, I wanted to learn CE because it didn't need a capture card at the time for that. But then made the worst decision in my life and tried to learn Halo next, and that's what drove me away from CE.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I just soft locked on that mission casually like an hour ago, so I totally get it.
Yeah, that's surprising to me though, because your Halo Runs profile doesn't have you with any CE times. So I thought you would have at least had like one then. So that's really
I know
surprising.
I did 343 runs for like the first Grand Prix, but I don't know if I ever submitted it. So I'm guessing I didn't submit it because I know I submitted for the Grand Prix at least.
Okay.
I guess I can talk about the D1 athlete, but so if you didn't know, I was the captain of the Valorant team at the University of Wyoming. That's where the D1 athlete comes from. So just a little bit mocking of the actual D1 athletes because we were just a
I,
club sport.
I believed this whole time until like 2 weeks ago or something that when you said it on a stream, something about your Valorant stuff. I was like, okay, Galk's gonna come to GDQ. I'm gonna get some friends to meet him. They'll be really impressed by his D1 athlete and video game ability. Still technically true, but just not in the way I expected.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no.
how good are you then, would you say, at Valorant?
Valorant, if I grinded, I could like really hard. I can probably get like top immortal if I really tried, but I just get super burned out. I think I peaked at Ascendant 3, but I haven't touched the game since last October.
Yeah, as someone that doesn't know Valorant ranks too much, you could probably give some more info on around how good
It's
that
just as
is.
impressive as the D1 athlete moniker.
It's about like equivalent like global in CS.
Okay. So that's like literally like top 1%, you could say. Really good.
Yeah,
Were you doing this like at the same time that like MCCPC dropped, or did you pretty much drop it as soon as that came out?
I was doing a bit of both, so I'd be like grinding Valorant and Halo at the same time.
Right, and then you saw just how awesome Halo was.
Yeah, no, I actually got into Halo runs during high school, so that's actually another little fun backstory. Is I convinced my mom to buy me a capture card, saying I can make money back with this, and I eventually did.
Yay, that's cool.
Did you tell her that?
I don't think so. I should though.
Well, you should, yeah.
Yeah,
Give,
you
give her a
should.
little paycheck for Mother's Day too.
Yeah,
Yeah, ride on the GDQ hype soon. That'll be great.
she wants to watch the GDQ run, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hope we get some Gelk underscore mama donations.
Speaking of GDQ, I think the three of us will actually be at the event, so that'll be really cool to see. Along with, I believe, Helpless and Nervy. So we can have a big HaloRuns event there, sort of thing.
Yeah,
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm
that'd be
pretty
sick.
excited for that because like this is the most people I've been at with an event since, I mean, even 2019 it was just three of us. I mean, other people like at ESA that we've had more Halo runners, but I'm really excited because it's the first time in a while we've had so many prominent runners, including myself, of course, in the same place.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe there are some retired ones or like people that were in Halo speedrunning way in the past that will be attending. I think who was it? I think Shattermage might be joining again, who I met there like 2019. So that would be cool. There might be more. So we'll see what happens.
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be the first time I've ever traveled to an event like this, so it's gonna be sick to actually meet some other runners.
Yeah, nervous or anything about it.
Not right now, but I'm sure like the night before I'll just like have this sudden realization of what's about to happen.
Yeah, Uh, from my experience at GDQ, it definitely can be a factor of nerves, especially running on stage. So,
Oh
because
yeah.
it's very different than running online or just doing runs casually.
Is
So,
this your first in-person event, uh, like ever, for speedrunning?
Yeah, for speedrunning, it's
Okay.
gonna be
But
my first in-person event, but I did do ESA online in 2021.
yeah,
okay,
that
well, I
that's
think
pretty
that'll
good.
help a lot.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that experience will definitely help.
Like
yeah.
you just get that baseline, like, oh, it's okay, and time passes regardless of what happens or not. So like you just got to get with it. Um, Plus, I mean, honestly, I kind of enjoy all the silly stuff that happens at GDQ. I mean, even like Joker back in the day had a really rough dawn in his GDQ run, and then the rest of his run went flawless, and he got more and more confident throughout it. It was pretty fun watching everyone get behind him for that. And of course, you'll have lots of people here watching you too.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, anticipate like the first couple missions just being the worst, just as like the nerves settle down. Then getting more into it should be fine going on. But of course, there's always the Cortana reactor room. We saw what happened there
Oh boy.
at the hotfix run, but hopefully that doesn't make a return.
Yeah.
No, and your run's on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be on Tuesday, May 30th,
Okay, and
which is
then
also the
so
night before my birthday.
it's pretty early in the week. Nice. Hey, do we need to beg the Halo Runs community for any sort of donation incentive to get this thing on there? I know it's kind of like an extra category, right?
Yeah, it's a bonus run for GDQ right now. Uh, so I guess if you are interested, you could donate for the run,
Or at
especially
least
during
watch
my
it.
run, which is like 2 hours before. So if the donation incentive hasn't been met for that, I believe I'll be putting all of mine to Halo.
That's a good point. You can make a little announcement to watch the tracker, but bleed the masses first, but we'll come through if we need to. It should be pretty successful. Like, it's been so long since Halo 3 Ledge has been an event. I'm not even sure if they did easy.
They did easy with Sasquatch fairly recently, I think.
Oh,
Like
yeah, it
2021?
must have been one of the online ones, right?
Yeah, online in 2021, I think. Something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I make sure to watch them all, but it's so different like being at an in-person event. Whereas like I just turn on like the stream like I do all day anyways, just to watch like another Sasquatch run.
Yeah.
Although it's nice to see when they don't reset. So we'll get to see that with Gelk too. Although I think he's pretty good at that, at not resetting from
Yeah.
the last few weeks I've been watching.
Based on my split counter, what am I, like 47 out of like 2100 attempts? So
I
Yeah,
mean, that's about average for most runners, I would say, for games like this.
I'm seeing some really good questions in chat, but there's also, in case you don't want it to get lost because the chat's moving so fast, I think you can do what, exclamation mark Q
Yeah,
QT?
exclamation mark Q, and then you can
Q.
type your question. Yep.
Oh, there is a question. Is there a Gelk Senior? Yeah, Gelk Senior is actually my brother. I didn't really have a name. Oh, have a part in naming my account. Our mutual friend was the one that actually made my Xbox Live account, and that's how I got stuck with Gelk Junior. Now I'm just in too deep on it.
It's actually pretty similar to me because my brother was Zeus Returns way back in the day, and now I'm Chronos Returns because that's what happened.
It really embeds itself in you. Like, I'm pretty sure your first name is Chronos, and Gelk's first name is Gelk.
Yeah, with a 3.
We didn't all have the luxury of rebranding like right as we started our career. Heck, we got a lot of the Zoomers in the HaloRuns community that are choosing when they're like 14, 15. So
Yeah.
but it's working out. I like that too. It's always fun when the backstory is so normal, right?
Yeah.
I think I remember listening to something from like Ogre 2 doing that too. It's like, oh, it's not really like intense or lore. There's not a lot of lore with it.
It's just a thing I've been stuck with for all these years. Originally he wanted me to change it, and it's just like, I'm not paying money to change this.
Oh, it's your gamer tag too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't see that.
And now we play Halo Infinite sometimes, so we have Gelk and Gelk Jr. in the same lobby.
I love that. I think I had Gandalf the Gray and Gandalf the White in one of my lobbies sometimes. I love those teams. I forget how long it's been, but didn't Sorix have like a fluffy puppy or something as his video submitted runs? If Sorix is in the chat, he'll have to correct us on that. But I mean, sometimes it's never too late.
I know he was Puce Biscuit on.
Oh right, I forgot. That's where I learned the word Puce. I had to look that one up. It's like some. It's exactly what it sounds like, right? It's some yellowish green. You know what? I'll just use your imagination. But
isn't
using the default. Do you remember what your default like Xbox assigned name was?
I do not.
No, I don't remember at all.
It's a shame. I think mine was like Halo, arbitrary Halo, something silly like that. I guess they knew I'd be a Halo fan.
Isn't that where Garish's name came from? It was just one of those auto-generated Xbox names?
It could have been. I remember watching his stream and he was asking like, what does Garish actually mean? Oh no, it was Garnish. People were calling him Garnish. Magical Sniper. Oh, that's a good one. That's as good as any default.
Yeah, I think one of my original usernames was just an auto-generated RuneScape name. So, like, a bunch of numbers at the end. Don't remember.
Well, sometimes that takes the hard part out for you. Like, just get an idea on the paper. I mean, I already talked about my name last time,
Yeah.
but I had the luxury of choosing. I saw a little. I'm not sure if this is a sneaky question, but we were also talking about this before we went live. Zephyrike asked about no trophies. So sad, which is pretty funny because I have way more trophies than Gelk, and Gelk is a much better runner than I am.
Don't say
I
But
would
that.
that's
brag.
mostly just how competitive Halo 3 is. Like, it's both. It's got the tricks and the casual community behind it. So it is just one hell of a game.
Yeah, I'm also not much of an IL grinder, so most of my time gets put into full game.
What's your rank in full game right now?
I think I'm 6 right now, but I can easily like go up to 4th by saving a minute.
If we could all just save a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, save a couple minutes.
That's awesome. Look at
I mean,
those.
I've been on 110 pace before, then just lose all my time to Cortana and Halo. So
Yeah. What's with all these 2022 times? We need some more 2023 submissions.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
trying.
2023 for easy for Halo 3 has been pretty popping, like Sasquatch and Slowbro secretly getting fourth place. Pretty
Yeah,
sick.
actually, I've only seen Slowbro a few times in Discord, which is definitely how I measure community activity. Shame on me. That's a really good time.
Yeah, and even Nervy, going from CE to Halo 3, he's been playing quite a lot recently. He has a ninth place time on easy, and I believe he's learning legendary now. So that's pretty sick.
Yeah,
Bob the Builder.
he got like a sub 9 crows on like less than a day. It was like that took me 3 years to get that.
CE runners just built different.
It does. It's well, they're built on perfection, and then they go to the other games. I swear. I mean, I like seeing the adaptability too. I want to see them get it more into legendary, but seeing the sheer like optimized, smooth gameplay on easy is really nice too.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some more ledge runners. It's like one of the more dead categories right now, H3 ledge.
Yeah,
I guess so, yeah.
I think that's where I'd go next because if you don't do ledge, then you have to do some of the harder tricks to be like on par. Uh, whereas I can practice Halo 3 Legendary just by playing multiplayer, right? Just be on your toes, shooting left and right. Surely it's just that easy.
Yeah, get your crispy aim going.
Yeah, my crispy aim's all right. If I can manage it, I'd love like a tiny tournament at GDQ just to see who's got the sauce.
You got
Multiplayer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
multiplayer.
Just fun fact. Last time when it was BatChat, me and Rob just destroyed all like, the two of us.
Yeah, I thought I was a pretty decent shooter, but Rob was just like sword flying across the map to kill us. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
like what was it? Like I had like 4 kills, and then Rob had like 25, and BatChat had like in the middle like 15 or something. Like I think it was something like that. But I am super bad at multiplayer.
I'll say.
I put a decent time into Halo multiplayer, but yeah, I'm not the greatest at Halo multiplayer. Really good at flicking, but I'm not really great at tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Some of the best runners are a bit lost, and I mean, not looking at Chronos. I mean, like anyone in particular, but they can be a bit lost on the battlefield.
I mean, you have it both ways, yeah. I believe there's a lot of people that are just actually multiplayer kids, like montagers and stuff like Adversary and Zoo, yeah, coming from like primarily multiplayer to speedrun.
Yeah, actually, come to think of it, you had to use a controller for playing Halo 2, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's got to be.
I'm not the best controller. I mean, I did originate from just controller Halo, like way back in the day, but nowadays I just use keyboard mouse, so
And wait, Gelk, you said like you never had an Xbox, right?
No, I didn't have an Xbox One, but I did originally run this game on the 360, and I was so bad at it. Like, when one of my original goals was just to Bob Dark when you can get the top 3 time with a 125, and I never got that on OG. But as soon as PC came out, I got that with like in the first 2 weeks.
Jeez, I didn't know you were following it that far back. You must have like taken a break then.
Yeah, once school started, I like didn't run nearly as much.
All right. Wait, are you
Actually,
still in school now?
No, I got graduated last spring.
Nice, nice. Because I know one of the things we wanted to talk about was like how you were like balancing doing the speed runs in school.
Yeah.
Do you have a good insight on that?
yeah,
Yeah, well, for school, yeah, it's just really hard. Like, depended on like what you're majoring in. Since I was computer engineering, all my time just got sucked away to doing school things. So if I wanted to run, I could really like only do that consistently on weekends, which was pretty rough. But like now, since I have a full-time job, I can consistently just like routine out like a couple hours a night if I want to do some runs.
yeah. I think we'll get more into that a bit later, so we could
Gotcha.
just hold that thought for now.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, is there anything else? I had something that I was gonna say, but I completely forgot. So,
Related to GDQ and recent discussion and not other topics we had planned.
probably.
Oh well, maybe it'll come
Yeah.
up again.
Something I
Oh
do want to
yeah,
highlight is
I
the
I
3 out
remember.
of 5 relay wins. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I
probably one of
remember.
the highest relay win percentages. So
Uh,
get me on your relay teams.
yeah, that's true. Gelk is, I think, in the top 10 participants for win percentage of relays. So if you get Gelk on your team, that's pretty solid.
I'm pretty sure Zombie is too, but that's why we have the Zombie Award.
Yeah.
Seed to performance. I don't think Gelk's been in that line of improvement though. He's a
Yeah.
little more
I think
straightforward.
it's more so Gelk is pretty solid with consistency because of one, his relay wins, and two, like I believe uh your marathon runs, Gelk, at least the ESA one was pretty solid, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got like a 126 at ESA, which is like for like a commentated marathon was really good for me at the time. Then my it's actually funny because my first relay, that's when I wasn't originally planning on doing it because hadn't even learned full game yet, but
Oh my
Tara, who
word.
was supposed to be doing it, couldn't do it, so I had to rush to learn full game. So I got like a 155 in my first relay, but then the next time I got like a 122 or something.
Yeah. And when you compare it to like Sasquatch and Zoo, I would say, who probably haven't been the most consistent for relays, like yeah, it's definitely a big thing. It's not just like what your PB is that matters. It's a lot about consistency, even more so for relay races. So it's pretty interesting to see that even though you might not have as fast as a time as them, you'll still probably perform better than them in like relays or probably these no reset kind of events. So that'll be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that's what I think is interesting about Halo 3. I think it's like easier to like learn and get like a one-off good run, but I think it's one of the hardest to like be actually consistent at.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like I think
Okay.
CE for instance is a super consistent run. So
Yeah, Gelk, you're not going for like silo clip or actually tell me what's the hardest trick that you go for in your runs? Like what is the consistent run killer?
Consistent run killer? Oh, dude, that's double scarabs, dude. That section sucks.
Oh, and that's kind
really,
of mandatory though, isn't it?
Yeah, like there's no like legendary doesn't really like have any like run killing tricks per se. There's just like some sections that are just super difficult and like RNG by nature. Like double scarabs, there's just so many RNG factors, and playing it well consistently and getting through first try is can be a nightmare. There's been multiple occurrences where I clear the section and I get splattered by a marine or something.
I'm really surprised that it's that actually, because for me personally, I find that section to be pretty easy. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's not like a really difficult section, but it's definitely like one of the biggest run killers.
Yeah,
Oh, I know
'Cause
that is for me too.
once he's like started like getting the like top times, like one death there pretty much kills your run.
yeah. I mean, I was thinking about stuff like Cortana reactor room being the worst.
Yeah, that's another big one because that revert on its own can be like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yeah, the back half of the game is just really scary in general because pretty much
Hmm.
every death is like a minute plus.
Yeah. I guess that's a big factor for sure. Is in Halo 3 late game, the checkpoints aren't as lenient for like sections of the game where you can easily just reset if something goes wrong.
Yeah, then a couple days ago I had finally got past double scarabs first try, then I lose my run to Citadel. So they're just it's always a different section.
Is the Citadel box launch okay for you though? Like you feeling pretty good about that?
When I'm like on it and like practice on it, I'm pretty consistent at it. But like if I sometimes I just like kind of try and yellow it, then I have issues with it.
Because
I
that's what I try to show to like every person who hasn't heard of speedruns or at least Halo 3 speedruns before. I like showing them that box launch in Citadel.
You know, Citadel's probably the coolest section of Halo 3, just 'cause all like the coolest box launches are like back to back to back.
yeah. I
And you,
would say for GDQ for instance, make sure those sections, the fun, cool looking sections go well because that's
Yeah,
what people want to see.
yeah,
yeah, they'll let you die at this part that's definitely a normal place where everyone dies a whole lot. Wink, wink. But then you gotta nail the cool parts.
Yeah.
yeah. Like Floodgate and Citadel are probably like the two most important parts in the run, at least from like a spectator standpoint.
Yeah, like land those DC launches first try because those would be sick to see.
Oh yeah, people who like never seen DC launch before is like, whoa. Then
That's kind
like
of hard to wrap your head around too. Is like I don't know how good you are at explaining that while running, or if that's more of a couch thing, but you have to concentrate really hard when doing those.
DC launching not so much because it's like pretty much a muscle memory trick.
Really,
Yeah.
I think I haven't really done them since the whole like, did they patch it so it's more like this? Oh, now they patch it so it's more like this. I'm like, forget about it. So I'm kind of maybe I should learn it again if it's if you can get it pretty consistent like that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, if you're using a controller, you can like get really consistent on it. I still do it on keyboard just because I'm too lazy to switch to a controller, but it's also not that bad on keyboard either.
yeah, they switched it back to how it was originally, I believe, yeah. So basically, if you used to do DC launches back then, it should be basically the same now.
Yeah, I used to be like 75% consistent on those, which that's good enough for me at least.
Yeah. So
Well,
I think you'll be good with it then.
Yeah, just have to get that muscle memory going. That's like something I warm up before pretty much every run.
problem is if there's a hammer involved, I feel like I gotta like switch. That's one of those games where I'll switch maybe to PC so that so that if you can just jump and hammer behind you while still turning around and going forward again, like that's way better to do with the mouse and keyboard than controller.
Oh yeah, the 180 flicks are huge for Halo 3.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have to learn the mouse way of DC launching, or I could start pausing every 3 seconds, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the pretty common meta is to play the game on mouse and keyboard, then switch to controller for DC launching.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess we could go over to some Halo bingo cards if we want to come up with some ideas now. So let me switch it over here. So we're going to try to generate some ideas to be used eventually in the future for bingo objectives. So if anyone that doesn't know, you have some fun speedrun things called bingo races and stuff, where you have a bingo card of like 25 different objectives, and the goal is to complete like as many objectives as you can, or like there's many different methods you can do for the bingo, like getting one row, getting all of the goals, things like that. So we're just going to try to generate some ideas. So if anyone wants to try to do some sort of bingo race or competition in the future, we have a cool list here.
Yeah, I've never played it, but it seems like a lot of it is taking a moment to just really analyze what the board has generated and choosing which path you should go for based on what you think the fastest way of acquiring those squares are, which people are gonna think differently.
Yeah, there's so many different ways you can do it as well. For instance, you could have competitions where once one goal has been completed, no, like you're the one that gets that one, and then no one else can achieve that same
Oh
one.
God,
There's so many like nuances you can do with the bingo. So you could have whoever has the most squares, for instance, would win, and like all sorts of other cool things.
do you use like a board maker for this? Is there like a program or website that's like really easy to just plop some things in?
Actually, I was in contact with one person in the past that sent me a link to some bingo stuff, but I would need objectives first to be able to make cards and stuff, and it's hard to generate a lot of ideas for objectives that would be good, for instance.
Right. I mean, I want to see stuff that's different than just like speed run up until X point,
Yeah,
which is sometimes the issue I have with some like MST runs, not Halo 3 specifically, but like a lot of collectible runs are like speed run, walk, 50 meters to the right just to get this one thing and then continue speed running as normal. So it's way more fun to do stuff like if you could somehow make people kill hunters on AOTCR besides just the kill all hunters category, right? Like that changes the route. It doesn't it changes it from just being like who's the most used to the speed run path at the moment
yep.
and
That's
changing it to be a bit
that's
more knowledge
basically the
based.
goal for bingo is to make it very different than your standard speed run, and rewards a lot more creative thinking rather than just knowledge of like a specific route. So that's kind of the goal here. So yeah, I guess we can just start out. So I have like three sections here: long goals, medium goals, and short goals. So something for a long goal, for instance, would be probably at the longer time frame, like 10 to like I guess even longer than 10 minutes, like say 30 to an hour. Yeah.
For
So
one year.
for one objective, like you can have bingo be very, very long. Like you can have it be like one bingo, like win could be in a range of like 3 hours or something for one like competition or something.
All right.
Yeah.
And
So,
now theoretically you could like knock multiple out in the same thing, like
yeah.
if it was kill two hunters and complete well, not floodlight, complete AOTCR, and someone could do a faster kill two hunters on somewhere else, but they decide to just get them along the way to completing AOTCR, for example. That's something you could do. In fact, the fact that I can't think of a a good example of that means that would slow me down a bit. Trying to think of those combos.
Yeah, so you could have medium goals, 10 to 30 minutes. I guess you could say like beating a single level, for instance, you could have as a medium goal somewhere around there, like probably in a range of 5 to like 30 minutes. Depends.
Some of those goals are
Mhm.
intense. Is this like getting it under a certain time threshold, or just like beating it?
So it's like for a specific goal, which is like one square on a bingo card, you could get that completed. Like for instance, say to kill two hunters
Hmm.
would be like a short goal here. So that could probably take like maybe a minute depending on where you decide to kill the hunters or something. But
And
you can,
kill three hunters could change the level.
yeah,
Just what's the next closest pair that's shortly after the first pair?
yeah. And then like you can do these in conjunction with each other. That's like the main point. So even though a short goal might take like 10 minutes, you could have the short goal be with the medium goal, so it would only take 30 minutes to do like two squares. And maybe you can combine like all of them to a long goal. Like say a long goal would be like beat like Halo CE fully or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would have like all the other goals like that you could think of that you can complete during your run through, like the medium goals and your short goals during that one playthrough. But that might not get all the squares you want, for instance, or something like that. So you just have to pick and match and choose whatever other goals and stuff.
Does it seem like the best way to go about that is to not try to like plan stuff that could be within other like longer categories or objectives, but just like feed the bingo board a bunch of stuff and then it randomizes it and we'll see how comboable it is.
Yeah, so basically, uh, probably come up with some general ideas. Like, for instance, if I said, like, beat a level here for medium goals, like, that I guess is fine, but it would come up with, like, a lot of different goals for just that one. And they're all the same, kind of. So I want just more variety. Yeah.
Right. And now you have played a Halo bingo before, right?
I believe there has been some people that have tried out some
Six
bingo things.
Bobs. I like that because I only know of one.
Yeah,
I hear they're floating around in the Reach campaign, but I only remember where one of them is.
yeah. So
Are there really six? I thought
I
there was like three.
I believe there's quite a lot. There's like I think there's two on LNOS. I think there's uh another two on POA or something, or one on POA.
It's
One
definitely
on
one of
each
the odds.
mission. Oh yeah. I think I'm just getting it off because you have one Bob that can spawn in, but they can spawn in at different locations, and it's kind of RNG.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that sounds that
So
sounds lovely for
yeah,
bingo.
but
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
do
can
like
have
those.
like kill X amount, and then you can change this number, for instance, to be like between 1 to like 7, 8, and that can change the length of like, oh, this kill X hunters can be like literally just kill 2 hunters, or it could be kill like 20 hunters, and that could change it to a medium goal. Of
Start
course, it's harder to keep track, but you know.
start planning which campaigns you're like hitting all your other goals in. Eventually
Yeah.
get the hunters.
Yeah, and you can force things like be repeated, like non-repeated, like you can't kill the same hunter by reverting checkpoint, things like that.
Of course.
Small, like those are minor, but you know.
And I was thinking some of these would probably are hard to cross game unless you just happen to have a good group of people who are used to cross gaming. Uh, but I know some of I'm imagining a bingo game that's just through cursed Halo, and I'm just thinking of that because I just started playing the latest like cursed Halo that they released like 24 hours ago. It was like cursed again, but it's my first play, and that's like it's so different for me that it's like go ahead try to speed run this like just by having CE speed running knowledge, but it would work so much better for like do these objectives and I have no idea how the game's going to go as you get there. It's going to be a wild like random fun fest.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty fun to do a bingo like that too, but you know you'd have to get a few people willing to do that.
Yeah, like for instance, you could use Burnt's randomizer, for instance, for CE and just try to do it like that. That would be pretty funny.
I forgot he made that actually. Did he do that for CE and 2?
I believe it's done for CE. I think there are some things for 2 and 3, I want to say. I don't know exactly. I do know just CE for sure. There is a level randomizer too that was made by Scales. So it works for MCC where you can switch around all the levels in like a playlist. So if you want to play like a random order of levels, you can do that.
That is interesting. I wonder how I'm curious. I've never tried something like that. I don't know how much that messes with people's like subconscious memory, like muscle memory, sort of, for like, oh god, now I have to get ready for Halo after Crow's Nest.
Yeah. But you can have both of them on at the same time, like a level randomizer and an enemy randomizer, and it really throws you for a loop sometimes. So, yeah, you can do quite a lot of things.
I'd do this though. I think no matter the category, someone hit me up for this. As long as it's not like CE only stuff, because boy, that takes a while to get back into.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, just throwing things out there. There's find the skulls or find X skulls, because those are in a consistent location. I don't know how I feel about finding the golden giraffes. They are
The
giraffe,
golden
right?
moa, the moas.
Moas.
Moa. Close enough. Actually, that's funny. I forgot they were the moas. But I'm not sure how good that would be for the category. One thing I was thinking of is like accumulate a certain amount of score.
Ooh, score. That would be
Score
cool.
runs are fun.
And not even like what's the best score you can get in a level, but it might just be like get 1 million score, and or get 100,000 score, and you might just be like immediately thinking, okay, what missions can I start killing things immediately? Or like maybe get some easy phantom kills at the start or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have to think about, do you want to like turn on some skulls to get some extra points? What skulls be worth turning on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Now,
only that, you can also probably try some things like, oh, can you do it in firefight or some standard multiplayer? Like, you could probably do some fun things with those. It doesn't have to be like strictly campaign only. Yeah. Just general would be really cool.
Bring back the BTB speedruns.
oh my god, I I watched the finished product of that on what was it, Rat Race, at least. It was pretty funny to watch, but I can't imagine like relying on just all the randomness of your opponents.
Yeah. But you could have like Easter egg shenanigans that are multiplayer only. Yeah.
Mhm.
You could have some like uh, jumping or tricking sort of objectives. That would be pretty cool. Like, not speedrun tricks, but like just a general weird trick that normally people don't do. Like, for instance, the what is it? Like, you can do AUP for outskirts or something, like
Good lord.
become a phantom.
I was thinking more like moving backwards only with a gravity hammer, and complete a lap around a certain custom game map.
Yeah, so like complete a level with handicaps of
Well,
sorts.
I actually really like those. I know some other people have done handicap runs.
Yeah.
Hey, Monopoly stopped in. I'm glad you did.
Perfect timing for that. But yeah, completing levels with handicaps would be cool. Like completing a level blindfolded, imagine.
I
Oh, well,
want to,
I
man.
was
What's the most blindfoldable Halo? Like, someone tell me so I can start running
I
that.
mean, BBK did beat Cairo blindfolded.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that through sheer skill, or I mean,
He
obviously there's some
grinded it
skill in there,
out.
but like,
Like, I think he grinded it out quite a lot to figure out exactly how to do it. So I don't know if you can do that for a bingo because
no.
it's super difficult, but honestly, just being able to beat a level blindfolded in Halo is pretty sick. So
Yeah, I want to know which like materials have the most wide range of different sounds, like when you punch them or shoot them, so that you could at least get yourself back on track if you're not just completely memorizing the inputs.
yeah,
Actually, that would be easier on PC,
yeah.
now that I think of it, because you can just move exactly straight.
hmm Like, I was thinking levels like probably keys you could do blindfolded, just the keys bump and then attempting to get into the cutscene. That's pretty simple, I would say. Like,
Well, that
probably
makes
more.
me feel pretty bad at keys. Then, oh yeah, most
I
people could do that blindfolded.
I mean, it might be more difficult than it sounds for sure, but you could probably figure out how to do keys bump, and the rest of the level is really trivial. But other
Yeah.
than that, you could have like POA maybe, but the stairs section might be rough to like walk blindfolded. Uh, Other than that, like levels without big like cliffs or stuff that you can fall off would probably be best. Or short levels, like very short.
Yeah, I do like the theory crafting. Some of it I can't tell how much needs to be done once you've found a group and what works well within the scope of that group, and what can be randomly shown to any Halo runner, and they'd be able at least to do it, even if not as skillfully as some of the others. But it's doable. Kind of reminds me of another challenge that I have with another friend, where we are speed running Pokemon Sapphire, and neither of us have watched speedruns of that game. So it was purely off of childhood memory of the game, and we've done like 5 runs or so with like minimal restriction. We've done a little more, but you kind of learn what works, and then you're like, okay, now do it, but ban Talo, or ban some of the most the easiest things. And that's something that we've learned for just it's self-imposed restrictions that we've learned through doing it, given both of our skill sets and yada, and we're not doing speedrun tricks. And I'm trying to imagine that for like um just a Halo bingo stuff. What needs to be hope I don't know what might need to be hashed out within a group that's different from normal Halo bingo rules, that just to make it a better game for that group.
Like creating some house rules.
Yeah, house rules.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you could probably like pick and choose, probably like have a filter of like what objectives or games you want to have in your bingo or not want to have. I think we could
Yeah,
probably come up with something like that.
I'm just thinking like the Bobs.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's also like kind of what makes like bingo like kind of like fun event is you want to like pick and choose which ones like would net you that bingo or something, whatever would make you win. So
Right.
try to ignore the harder ones that you don't want to do.
Hmm.
That's a good point. I
I
do like the stuff like, look, kill a scarab in three different games.
yeah.
Oh, I guess in Reach, can you kill scarabs?
Uh, can you reach? I don't
Carter
know.
technically takes out a scarab.
Well,
Like,
Does
yeah.
that count?
I
are
guess
you
that's
allowed to kill the ones on Pillar of Autumn?
like I think like something that could be fun is like getting to a certain point to see a cutscene, for instance, yeah, where you have to like, for instance, watch Cat die in New Alexandria. Like that's an objective or something, or
You have to
like
watch all of
something
Noble
funny.
Team die.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Be
Like
a long goal.
cutscene objectives.
Killing Marines objectives. Kill ex-Marines.
Something.
Like basically things that you won't expect someone to do in a run, yeah? Like sure you can kill Marines for an objective, yeah? Like that would be cool for
I actually really
just
like that. I haven't thought of any like consequences yet. I just like the idea of it.
yeah,
It's kind of like a speed running, letting off steam for all the times they've killed the runs.
yeah.
I think maybe something like that could be fun. It's like maybe doing a mission that's with Covenant only weapons. Would you like pick something like Gravemind that's kind of long, or would you try another mission where you start out with UNC weapons and try to pick up some Covenant weapons?
Yeah, so like say you're only allowed to beat the level with your base loadout or something. That would be interesting. Where like for instance beating, I don't know,
Can you?
library with an assault rifle and pistol.
Oh my
No
lord!
shotgun.
Oh, that'd
Some of
be a
those games
nightmare.
like don't Covenant weapons just not damage the flood or something. Probably not something that you spawn with, I guess.
Yeah. Melee
Or like
nades
zero
only.
shots.
Yeah, like 0 shots.
It isn't like Floodgate. Can't you just walk through without using any weapon?
Yeah, you can get a pretty solid floodgate time without any tricks.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've lost some of my earlier speedrun attempts have lost to someone doing a floodgate, you know, no kills, no damage, walk only. Like, boy, that's a reality check.
Yeah, ask Mono about his pacifist run.
Mono's done a pacifist run.
Yeah, on floodgate, I think he has like a sub 4 pacifist.
Yeah, that's my issue. I believe I was in the low fours the first few times I was speedrunning that.
Yeah, I think Max Lu as well has completed Halo CE Pacifist, which is pretty cool.
Normie percent runs, kill all enemies.
Yeah, you could have
I actually kind of like that some of the community has created some new categories that have a little more mass appeal that are still like competitive, just not like the most competitive or what the competitive people would usually run, but like it's at least fun as an exhibition. So like I like watching those.
Yeah, like Rokatz's John Wick runs of like Cairo, for instance, were a good example, where you kill every single enemy on Cairo. So that's pretty cool.
Question for everyone, including the chat: is there a pre-agreed upon term for this sort of thing, or is there really not a lot of established stuff? Because I know Rokats will call that John Wick. I think doesn't Jerv has his own have his own name for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there is some like pre Halo runs, like if there's like another term someone's used somewhere. I feel like if I do one of these runs, I pretty much get to choose what I call it at this point.
Yeah. And I think there, like Jur, for instance, has a bunch of random names for his challenges, which he tries to come up with something that's nice sounding, and he makes that the name of this challenge. I think Rokets just calls his runs for killing everything John Wick runs, for instance. But yeah, I don't think there's like a set term for it, at
All right.
least for everyone.
It has good communication appeal right now. I'm trying to imagine theoretically if Halo was still known in 10, 15, 20 years, but like John Wick has kind of fallen out of the mainstream consciousness,
Yeah.
then it wouldn't make as much sense anymore.
We're gonna be on like John Wick 10 by then.
Yeah, if they keep because Kuno doesn't really age, right? He'll be doing those. They just came out with 4, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
it came
think
out a
I'm
couple
still
weeks ago.
on 1. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2. How many do we have? We don't have enough for a full bingo board, do we?
I mean, technically, you can have all of these X objectives be like single objectives, like find X skulls. You could make this like find like a specific skull, like the find the blind skull on outskirts, for instance. That could be very short, very quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have things that are like find like maybe find 5 skulls in your runs or something, and you count up like 5 more skulls, and it could be like any skulls. You could have like find a terminal on this mission. You could have like a lot of those kinds of shenanigans. So any of these things you could probably expand out like a lot. So I guess that would be a decent starting point for some of these, for instance.
Yeah, you're right. That's actually good. I mean, like, I would like at least double the amount of like variations than could fill the squares, so that
Yeah.
there's a little complexity to it. And I think just those examples you gave, like that's almost enough right there.
Yeah. So technically, we do have enough to fill a bingo board with like these kinds of objectives, but I'm looking for like more variety that would probably be overlooked in a sense of like maybe you don't see it, like things that you wouldn't expect from the run. Like what's a good example? I don't know.
We could, I mean, like get complete Exodus without jetpacks or something, which is
Yeah.
an achievement, I believe.
Yeah.
Or like get past a certain part of the level in an unintended way.
Okay, so maybe like certain route changes.
Yeah, that's probably a good catch-all term for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, you brought up the word achievement, which makes you think like unlock X achievement or something like that.
yeah, that
Yeah.
could be a good idea. Vehicle-based mission on foot. Yeah, I think like some of these like beat a level objectives where you complete a level with handicaps. The handicaps can be like a lot of things that you can do, like no driving, no no weapons, no shooting, no grenades.
I kind of want to do that on Covenant, and I know there's been a lot of work, like not in a bingo way, even just like completing it. And I'm not sure where the level currently stands, but obviously the first part you can do without a vehicle. The biggest issue is the Hornet section, which seems to be DC launched to the island, get another DC. Um, I don't know, but assuming that could be solved, I've had a lot of fun with the first part of Covenant's box launching out of the tower. I think I have like 3 minutes worth of launch clips that just make you go slightly faster than a hog, but it wouldn't really make sense unless you did full vehicle-less. I'd love to do that.
Complete NA with Marines piloting the Falcon.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
How to get people to rage quit your bingo game.
Or just any mission with Marines driving.
Or if that was the whole objective.
I think that's a good handicap though. Just Marines doing stuff for you.
Marines are already a handicap in the runs already.
They'll get you where you need to go eventually, right? Maybe if it's on legendary though, they're probably gonna get you killed.
This probably goes under the handicap category, but maybe doing a level that's typically done out of bounds, inbounds.
Yeah, I think that would be like a different route change, for instance. Yeah. So like do keys without keys bump. Yeah.
Do high charity full path. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want more people to do that so I can watch it. I've really enjoyed watching the high charity skip happen, but now I would like to rewatch the rest of the level.
Yeah, like for instance, I have do X trick here now. Like you could make people do keys shield bump, do the old like like what is it, 2015 strats.
Oh, hey, I actually knew how to do that.
Yeah. So
Probably
you
not
could have
anymore.
like people doing like very old tricks or something. Things that no like people don't do anymore. And then it's like, oh, you have to relearn a tutorial for this.
Oh, LGB, that sounds awful. Yeah, actually, kind of on a tangent, I really like looking back at some of those tricks and like, especially when they took a little more skill than current faster things. Not saying it's better. It's in a speed running. It seems like you win some, you lose some with that.
Mhm.
But like the way some people did those old bumps were like really cool to watch.
Yeah, like uh it's a lot of trade-offs. Yeah, I think this was discussed before, where the trick development, it normally comes with like you make tricks easier sometimes, or you make tricks more accessible, and then there's tricks that just make it a lot faster at the cost of making it more difficult. So it's like a mix sometimes.
That actually gives me thought to a question for Gelk. Since you started running and at least more seriously in 2018, like what's the biggest change to the run that you remembered is like, well, this is a change.
Biggest change of Halo 3 Legendary, it really hasn't changed much, but on easy, like yeah, we see clipping now, but because out of bounds tankless is like the biggest change that's happened in recent times, and that happened before I started running, so
Right.
the run hasn't changed pretty much at all. There's been like a lot of minor things, like we jump up the elevator on crows now. We used to never do that, but that's probably the biggest one actually.
Is that faster even if you get sent to the left side of the elevator?
Technically, if you like, yeah, because you can jump up there and save a little bit of time because you have to call the elevator to bring it down, then take it back up.
Yeah, I think it saves like 15 seconds, does it? Yeah.
Yeah, if you get a good launch.
I gotta start doing that. This is the one benefit of just not running games for a while is you can just have some easy PBs by learning a few, new
Yeah.
tricks.
Yep.
I think in the BatChat geological timescale, that arc ghost out of bounds, I feel like I saw that not too long before you got here, but you say it like it was before you got here. I forget
Yeah,
exactly when that was found, but it feels like it was a similar like era. I don't know, but I also just like I didn't keep track. I feel like you and Sorix came on sort of at a similar time, but of course you guys might have way different perspectives on that.
yeah. Storix had world record by the time I started, so
Okay.
I think Out of Bounds Tankless was found when history was still around, and yeah, he disappeared before I started running.
Your history had the dankest strats. That's
Yeah,
why I would watch it. I'd be like, holy shit.
yeah. History. We still use some history strats, but now that we have some nail strats, like using the plasma cannon at Dawn Clear. That's nail strat. And punching the ghost to get out of bounds to get the flip. It's like, man, how come we never thought of these things before? Like getting
Well,
some like fresh minds in the game just to do like something, some small quality of life features. Like, where was this the last 5 years?
wait, what's this plasma thing? I actually haven't heard of that.
Oh,
Plasma turret.
yeah, there's like a turret that's like scripted to be there that one of the I think run's supposed to get on, like it's blown up, and you can pick that up and take out both AA wraiths
Oh, it's
with
just
it.
really fast at clearing them.
Yeah, you can because typically we would just go and board the wraiths, but you
Hmm.
can just use it and like kill in a more stationary position and go turn and kill the brutes that are getting in the ghosts.
Okay, makes sense. Dude, people are wild.
Yeah,
I gotta
it's,
start running again.
like, it's all the minor adjustments that you don't realize. Like, for instance, in AOTCR, Argentina found out that the tank was faster than the triple ghost nates that we do for doing all the stuff to get Banshee fireworks working.
Just driving the
Just
tank
driving the
like
tank.
normal. Oh my
Yeah,
lord.
that's
Yes.
faster.
That Halo CE tank is deceptively fast.
Yeah. It really is. Like, I believe I recorded the speed values. It's like pretty absurd how fast it is. It's primarily because even though like for instance the Ghost has a higher top speed, the tank's acceleration is so fast. Like it's actually super fast acceleration for the
Mhm.
tank. So you get up to max speed like within like like a quarter of a second or something. While the Ghost takes like a second or two to go like speedy, which is why the tank like strat works.
Is that in the current record? Can I just watch that?
I believe so. Let me just double check here. I could probably just put it on screen.
I feel like even then, driving the tank is so tough in CE. I can't imagine how that feels.
Yeah. So it should be right
There's a
here.
rock.
Yeah, so right here. This is the tank strat by Argentina. So let me just put it at higher quality. So yeah, just boarding the tank and just driving it is faster than taking the Ghost.
Yeah,
And
but
then
fireworks looks cooler, and we
yeah,
all know it's the
goes the
swag
fling
strats that
here.
matter.
And then just boards the tank again to just drive over. And it's faster than taking the Ghost to drive a few steps to take it. So yeah. That's really sick to see.
I am so confused. I see the end result. I'm just.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the
CE
stuff you
is
got to think
so
of when the
weird.
game's so optimized.
Yeah. It's like things that you don't expect anymore in runs. It's like you have to really think out of the box if you want to get some really new strats. And that's something that current runners or trick finders do, is do some really hard to find shenanigans like Burnt with all the teleports that was revolutionized the game so much.
Teleports. I could do without some of those teleports. Although thankfully some of them are still just in segmented for now. But Pillar of Autumn, I'm gonna have fun relearning that mission, I think.
Yeah.
That and the slippery feet just being out of bounds.
Yeah, I think there's like a lot more shenanigans in bingo we can definitely go over as well. Like for instance, three different landscapes, like you could have like the winter, the beach, standard like
Desert, of course.
indoors. Like you could have things like that where you're in different areas that you can classify.
Interesting.
You could have like objectives where you see certain things or like kill some nature in the game like moas or birds.
Or Marines.
Go hear a certain voice line.
Nature.
Yeah, voice lines are good. That's a good idea. Like hear a rare voice line, like a grunt dialogue line that's specific to the game. Or like for instance, going to the maw, like the scripted dialogue there for some things, or even in New Alexandria on Reach where you have the Marines there
That's
at the
tricky
top.
territory. I feel like you'd have to. I don't know if you incorporate like Google searching into the run. Like I do that sometimes for those blind Pokemon runs I was talking about. Like sometimes you don't know if something will work, and so you let the timer run while you search up like what the heck Ma voice line. Like
Yeah,
I don't
like
know. I'm a little. I don't know if
it
I'd
could
do that
be,
in my bingo run.
yeah, it could be something that's really out there, but sometimes it like rewards the people that are like very into the all the Easter eggs and stuff. They are very knowledgeable about the game. I think that's also an aspect that could be taken into account where some people really want to do like some fun objectives where they have an advantage just because they know so much about the game. I think that would be cool.
Indeed.
Yeah. It's
This is a lot of
probably
stuff that I'd be comfortable playing a bingo off of this.
yeah. It's a pretty good list. Long goals, it's
Yeah,
literally only just beat a game, but I don't think we would have too many long goals.
or just
Like,
maybe like multi-game stuff, like
yeah,
complete one mission from each game.
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah,
I like that one specifically too.
yeah,
Minus Halo 5 and Infinite or like whatever. I don't
yeah.
know.
I think it also has to be taken into account that MCC would probably be the best way to do bingos, just because there's so many different games
Yep.
inside of it. So of course it's unlucky that Infinite and Halo 5 aren't on MCC. I
We'll just
really
wait for
wish
FCC
MCC.
2.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll get on that.
One day, hopefully.
Maybe community community MCC.
But yeah, I think this is a pretty solid list. We could probably come up with some bingo boards with this sort of shenanigan, like these things. And yeah, maybe try it out sometime in the future with people that want to try out a bingo run, for instance. So, yeah, if you are interested, just let me know. We could probably schedule something on the Halo Races channel for it. So, yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Shall we move on from bingo?
Yeah, so I guess we can talk about life and speed running. I don't know if you have anything you would like to discuss in particular, Gelk, for it.
Uh, I just like see people who like can get like 9 hour streams off like Sasquatch yesterday. It was like, how do people do that when I can like being a like full time employee now? I know he is too, but I can like only have the mind power to like stream maybe like 2 to 3 hours a night. So I'm just curious on like how people like aren't like super tired and have like the ability to do that just in general.
Yeah.
Well, I'm certainly not the expert on that. I'd be the opposite. I mean, you see how often I stream. Chronos has been a bit of a grinder, though. I know.
I used to. Nowadays, I've been pretty swamped with work since I've started a job like last month until now. And yeah, I do this podcast every week. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of mindset things which we discussed before in the past, and just managing how you do things in life. So like balancing how much like you do for each object like thing you want to do in life, and just managing priorities, I guess. So it really depends on the person. And I do think that sometimes it depends a lot on uh just how you feel when you're working or playing games and stuff. Some people still stay on edge like at every moment, and it becomes really stressful for them to do anything after like doing work or school. And then there's some people that like take it really chill and are able to just play games to like whatever.
Like
It
to
really
unwind.
depends. Yeah.
That's totally different. I'm sort of calling back to now when you had me on as interviewed. I believe you didn't start work by that point yet, right? Did
Yeah.
Did you have your job?
I started, I think, the week that I had you on or something. So
It was
yeah.
still on a Friday, I think.
Oh, if it was on a Friday, then I think that was probably the last one before I started working. So
Right. I'm just thinking, isn't it kind of funny how now you have all this structure, and theoretically you have like more guilt-free time to like speed run, but it's still like harder compare. I mean, you've said you feel more like stressed or whatever, or not stressed, but like you're just more busy.
yeah, it, I I think something that I would say to that is uh it's a mix of like speedrun burnout, for instance. So for instance, back a few months ago, I didn't stream as much. I like primarily because I didn't have that many goals in like speed running, for instance, where I would want to like do speed runs. And I think that's like a big part about why some people don't stream or aren't able to stream as much either, is that uh they don't have objectives that they really want to work on, and they just stream. It probably doesn't feel worth it sometimes. And I think that's a big factor. And yeah, for instance, for me now, even though I'm more busy, I still feel more like streaming now than before because I have GDQ to look forward to and stuff. So it's definitely like a priority thing as well. So nowadays, speedrunning for me is a lot more fun to do because I have something I'm looking forward to, a lot of goals, a lot of things that I'm super excited for speedrunning. And I think that's something that helps you de-stress, while if you're just grinding speedruns for like no reason, sometimes it just feels really boring and like a waste of time sometimes. So it depends on like what you're looking for.
But Gelk,
Yeah.
did you say there was a difference like between when you were like still in school and speedrunning and now? I don't
Oh
recall.
yeah, definitely because I was had a much higher workload when I was still in school. And yeah, now I can routine out a couple hours a night at least when I want to speed run. And I think Chronos brought up a really good point, like having a goal. I think when like right now, my one of my biggest goals is trying to get a 111, and with that, it's a lot easier to turn the game and like get runs going. And with that in mind, because I noticed like when I was just like running when just trying to get a PB in general, then it just wasn't as fun. And I think another element of that is when you have a goal, like it doesn't even feel like you're running for that long. You like look over at your stream times, like, oh, I've been playing for 4 hours. So like you're definitely enjoying it and like losing track of time in general.
So you're more motivated now. Okay. I
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I expected that um or not. I'm not sure if I have the same experience as you guys. Um I think I enjoy it more when I know I shouldn't be doing it and should be doing something else. Or maybe enjoy is the wrong word, but like I'll do it more. I'm more motivated to do it. I mean, heck, I just spent. Maybe this was after the interview. Oh yeah, actually, since like my last interview on the podcast, I've been way more into Halo, and I've been trying to pop into everyone's streams. And then I think like the next day I downloaded Halo 5, and I spent, I think, the next 20 waking hours doing like lasso on one mission. Uh, but hopefully now I'm a bit more balanced. But as far as like whether you're working or in school, I think I'm the opposite of you two. I'm not sure, but I mean, you both have something to look forward to now, like you said, or something like really big and nice to look forward to. Good
Yeah.
goal.
What was I gonna say? Like, I guess it, like when you're working in school and you don't have as much time anymore, like you'll only have like an allotted like X amount of hours. Like for instance, for me nowadays, I only have like the night hours of like probably 4 hours to work with. Like how much of that time do I want to spend speedrunning? Yeah. So that's kind of how much time you spend on your stream and everything. And if your priority is for something else, like to chill doing like other things like watching TV, then that's like how you're going to spend your time is doing that instead of speedrunning. So it really depends on priorities for sure when you're working a lot or you have a lot going on in life. So that's kind of what I would say. And for weekends, for instance, for me, like I have all of the weekend. So depending on how busy you are during your weekends, how much you want to do like other things in life, it's like a lot of a priority based thing in that regard.
I think another element for me personally is since I just moved to a new city where I don't know anyone, I wanted to stream more because like it's already like a community I had built up. So just getting some extra human interaction.
Speed runnings for the boys.
True.
Meet your friends.
There's
I
something
almost
else I wanted to talk about, like with like just life and balancing speedrun. Like, what are some things you do like outside of speedrunning that help you speedrun? Like, for example, like I think exercising is one of the biggest things that actually helps me inside of speedrunning because like it helps like some with like my aim and things like that.
right. You're a D1 athlete. You gotta
Yeah.
keep on top of the exercising. I does it? I don't know. Um, I mean, I have my thoughts. I'm sort of curious if Chronos does though. You got a little gym back there you're working on?
uh, I like recently I've been taking walks outside. Just like I guess if you count that as exercising, I don't know, but like I walk like a mile and a half around, basically around my local pond, which is
Nice.
like a mile like trek. So that's pretty nice.
Next
So
time, do it faster. Try to beat your personal best. Speed running in real life helps you speed run in the game too.
actually, very fun fact about myself. I actually do a lot of things really slowly in life, but in speedrunning I'm really fast, but everything else I'm super slow. Like I
Uh,
eat really slow, I like walk really slow. I don't know. Like everything else I do is just very labored.
Right. But Galk, it seemed like you actually like have a plan, or are you more like curious and asking?
no, I'm just curious about I was just using that as an example because yeah, because like exercising has definitely helped me. I'm just seeing if like there anything else that people do to help them speedrun just in general that's
Uh,
outside game.
no, but I actually will say more on. Well, I don't have anything else I do to help, but I will say more on the exercise bit. Like if you exercise a good amount, like let's say earlier in the day, you feel like you generally feel better. Your body feels like more whole and whatever, and it kind of gives your mind a bit of like piece that you can like dedicate towards something that you could maybe spend too much time on, or uh I don't know, like sometimes at the end of a long speedrunning session it's like you have brain rot, you're like what am I doing, and like you just, I don't know, I maybe the regret is part of me, but hopefully I can extrapolate that to some other people too. But like if you've actually like exercised and done something productive earlier, like that puts you in a better mentality while you're actually speed running, and it makes you feel productive. Whereas I feel like you're gonna rage more, especially if you miss tricks and stuff. And like if you don't get your win, or if you don't hit your goal at the end of your session, it feels like a larger waste of time, and that can't be good for your mentality. So I can only speak from the lens of exercise. I wouldn't say I do anything else. Um, but having like good mental outside of it like helps you feel like it's worth it in speedrunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like something that I would add on to that is like, for instance, I for my walks, I use that time to take my mind off things. Yeah. So generally, I would say a good physical, mental like health is obviously like a big upside to speedrunning, and like being able to balance your life in speedrunning in general is just being able to, you know, just not focus 100% on something like all the time. I think that's like a big deal, and why people get burnt out, yeah, is because they focus too much sometimes, and eventually like grinding 24/7 is probably not the healthiest thing.
Yeah. I specifically like take Thursdays off because that's when the local Smash tournaments are, just to not do anything speedrun related.
Yes. Master Chief for Smash, please.
True.
Well, then you can never escape.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's good.
think another thing is like having a nice routine is also good. So if you like schedule yourself in a way, like work has helped me a lot with this, because now I have like a set schedule on, okay, I want to do work from like say 8 to 4. That's like my work hours ish. So from 8 to 4 I have like a 1 hour break in there where I take a walk, and then for the rest of the day, like the next hour I would do like other stuff, and then have dinner, and then probably at night I just enjoy like playing games or something. And that's probably like a good set schedule that I would have set aside for myself. And if you have a routine like that, it makes things a lot more bearable, and you can like pretty easily get on with your day knowing that you have like something that you're working towards, or something that you have like at least a set schedule that you're used to. When you have like nothing, it sometimes feels weird just not doing anything or not having something to look forward to. I mean,
Or you just
it,
speed run for
yeah,
10 hours straight.
yeah. So I guess that might feel sometimes more like you feel more useless sometimes, and that might put you at a bad mentality sort of state where you grinded for 10 hours to get nothing or something. And that feels way worse than like, oh, I'm just enjoying myself at the end of the day sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean that was one of my main questions for Gelk. I sort of pre-asked him before we came on, but like given all this run up to GDQ, I was kind of curious like how he's dealing with just like you kind of will be practicing a lot, and so you do have to manage this better than most of the rest of us, because we could stop. Heck, we could quit today if we wanted to, and you have to be a little smarter managing that. So it sounds like you're doing some good things already, and not to spoil because I think I already asked it, but like how are you feeling with like actually, have you increased like the amount you've speed ran at all since you've been accepted in GDQ? And has that
Uh,
affected anything like your motivation?
Not really. I've been pretty much like on the same goal because right now my plan is I've been grinding for like a 111. Then like maybe once May hits, I'll start like switching over to like a more no reset heavy mindset, and maybe
Good.
stream a little bit less going into GDQ. But right now, since I'm only streaming like maybe 3 to 4 days max a week, I can like go pretty hard. So I haven't had too much issues right now, and I've been kind of like on this routine for 4 months now. So it's been pretty solid so far. So I think I can keep it going through GDQ.
Are you gonna have like a swear jar or like a not trash the game jar going?
Yeah, swear jar. I don't really swear to begin with, so that's not gonna be a real issue for me. But
Yeah.
not trashing the game. That's gonna be the hard one.
I yeah, not to suggest, but it could be a good idea.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, just a side note, if you're a runner or commentator, they suggest you not talk bad about the game, like really importantly, because yeah, it's pretty important not to do that. Like, it's fine to say, like, oh, they made, or this glitch happens, sort of thing, and it's weird that it happens in the game, but not to say, like, oh, the devs were bad, they made this happen. Because of
Like,
bad programming or something. I mean,
So I
like,
shouldn't be
you can
saying
say
three four
bad
hit three.
programming stuff, but you shouldn't trash the developers like, oh, they were so bad at developing the game that they let this thing happen.
I was thinking more like, oh, those dumb Marines, like there's no way I could have predicted that, like stupid
Oh,
RNG.
I guess like in that regard, feel free to talk about bad RNG.
We just I call them happy little accidents, right?
Yeah.
Just just little character adds to your run, right? I don't
No,
know.
but I think when like submitting my commentated runs, there's just like too many things to explain to even like trash the run or the developers. I was actually planning on like giving 343 props for like bringing this game to PC because that's like what breathed in all the new life and all the new runners and what's actually enabled me to go to GDQ. Because if this game was still only on 360, I'd probably be too garbage to even run at GDQ.
That's good. Bring out Gelk the Passionate. Make that your moniker for the for the GDQ.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. Just a lot of shout outs and stuff. And once again, it's not just you. You can have your couch help as well for commentary. I mean, I'll be relying a lot on my couch for my commentary as well. For instance, Daggerfall, it's a very tough game because there's so many things happening at once. So, of course, if you need to focus on something, you can always rely on your commentators for help on that.
Yeah, that's fair because there's definitely like a lot of sections like Dawn Clear where I have to like fully focus and I cannot commentate and talk at the same time in that section specifically because I just need to be so engaged what's going on.
Yeah.
That's good. It's also probably one of the better eye candy sections for like casual viewers who don't kind of understand what's happening when they see a weird skip. Like if you were just like doing a DC launch and didn't like look ahead of you, you're just looking down the whole time. They don't, it might be harder for them to wrap their mind around. But a really nice like dawn clear, uh, I just call it eye candy for the audience, and it's also fine that you're not trying to explain something at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but that's where the couch can come in too.
Mhm.
that's why I like sections like Jackal Forest because it's just like a showcase of your aim and
Mhm.
things like that. It's like really simple to understand. Like you can headshot a bunch of jackals and do it while running forward, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah. You should do some commentary practice runs, I think.
Yeah,
Just
there for GDQ, there is a practice room specifically for the runner where you can have your runner and your commentators in the room and you can
practicing the
just
commentating too.
you can practice commentary like that. Yep.
That's sick.
Yeah. I would recommend doing at least one of those the night before. Like that's what I did and it's really helpful because then during the live event you can see, oh yeah, so we can just talk like this or something if anything like specific comes up. So yeah, just one or two maybe, depends on how much you want to focus on that. I would also say just a big mistake from me at my last GDQ was I spent way too much time in the practice rooms because I was so nervous. uh, Please just enjoy yourself when you're at the event. That's probably my biggest thing to say.
Oh yeah.
It'll be great. We'll have all the HR community in chat. Oh, I guess they have the sub only chat. nowadays, but
Yeah.
we'll probably have like a little private lobby going. Actually, I probably won't even be in there. I plan to be in a chair, or if there's a second couch, I'd love to be on that. But
Yeah.
dang, because I know the HR community likes being in our own like little Twitch. I don't know if it's a Twitch chat or if it's usually like a voice chat.
I think they're in both. Yeah, they're in the Twitch chat itself, like saying stuff, but they're also in HaloRuns Discord. So
Right. It's just fun kind of seeing everyone like pop off around their community member.
yeah.
And there's like the like hashtags, so you can like get the donations read out, like the preferred donations.
Hmm.
Do you have you like selected that yet, or like do you just tell them that shortly before?
That would be a Chronos question.
So I'm not sure specifically. I think towards when you're doing event or your run setup, they'll talk to you a lot more on specific things. So that'll probably be the time where you could talk about that stuff. There's a lot of setup that goes into the run. I think you spend probably 2 hours with setup shenanigans. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
I
I
wonder how
mean,
much it's changed since like 2013.
yeah, I mean, it really depends on how important your run is one thing. Like, do you have extra interviews that you're doing? Do you have uh extra software you need to download? Like, for instance, my run, I bet I'm going to spend a lot of time just installing the games since I have to install 5 games and a lot of down patches and everything. So
Uh,
yeah.
I'll definitely be bringing Burnt's checkpoint manager just in
Yeah,
case.
definitely suggest just having it for sure.
Make sure to use it a lot throughout your run, and when no one can dispute you. Oh yeah, we use this all the time.
Yeah, just make a bunch of safety checkpoints on the dangerous sections. Probably like right after you get like through the dangerous section thing,
Oh,
just
like
as a
soft
backup.
lockable moments.
Yeah. So for instance, in Cortana cutscene, if you have like the soft lock there, probably just have the checkpoint manager just for this point after that or something.
Yeah,
Basically, just having a bunch of backup checkpoints is nice. Don't need too many, but the more you have, the safer your run is and the less you can worry. Because no one really cares if you like fail anything like really badly or have to use a backup. They just care about seeing the cool stuff.
yep.
Remind me, are you on like current patch? Uh, do you have to worry about any sort of patchy stuff at GDQ, or are you just kind of downloading it?
So I downpatched to like the first patch of season 8, but like changes like I downpatch for like are really minor, just small little quality of life stuff. But I could run current patch at GDQ just fine. So, but
I
since I
would,
have
yeah,
access to down patch, I probably will.
yeah, I would recommend keeping your down patch because you don't want to deal with, oh, 343 updated the game sort of thing, like during the event when you're running.
Yeah,
Because it
Live for
can
everyone.
happen, so
that's
just be
true.
careful. Yeah.
That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah. Once again, for chat, if there's any questions you would like to ask for Gelk or for the rest of us here, feel free to do !Q. And yeah, anything else we want to discuss?
Yeah. Otherwise, we might be wrapping it down.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to talk about, like with the life and like speedrunning, like
Okay.
how important like getting quality sleep and like staying hydrated, and like just things you want to be doing in general. Like that's one of the biggest reasons when I don't run is just because I'm like too sleep deprived to do it.
Yeah. I think that's something that comes with work and school and stuff is sometimes it's super stressful, yeah. So like you might spend a lot of time working or doing schoolwork and stuff and it can get really stressful, like say you're not doing well in a course and that might add on to like more stress, or for your work you might have like some ticket you're working on for a long time and it's really stressing you out, and if that's happening, it will make you play worse since you're more stressed on stuff. And that's why having a good, healthy, like life schedule where you have like your 8 hours of sleep, your like water, like just being overall healthy, I think is like pretty important just as a general life thing.
I think I'm taking away some of those lessons then from this podcast because I am not good at doing those.
I mean, I guess that's something that I can take away too. Like, I can say for sure that before I got my job, yeah, my schedule was really bad. Like, I was sleeping at like, what, 7, 5 a.m. in the morning. Like, that's
Going to bed
really
at that
bad.
time.
Yeah, going to bed at that time and then waking up like at 1 or 2 p.m. It's like weird. It's very off balanced. And when you have stuff like that, it can really mess with you on just how you do things. So, yeah, just keeping a good, more general routine is definitely useful. Uh, I mean,
Prevent
you
that
can
mental
definitely make
fog.
it work, but it's just weird sometimes and probably not the best way to do things.
Yep, totally agree.
At least if you want a PB.
I don't know. I do all these things and I still can't PB.
Well, soon. I'm sure on the way. Well, hopefully on the way to GDQ, you can get some things. Actually, I'm kind of hoping some things you might practice just to like get for sure consistent for marathon safety. Like suddenly that just be like you're overcoming a hurdle that you can now just easily always get that when you grind for a PB again too.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see.
I don't know. I'm just throwing to PB at GDQ.
Yeah. Honestly, that's pretty cool to have
That'd
too.
be hype. Don't they have their own like little GDQ bingo board, or maybe so like the speedrunning subreddit does it?
Yeah.
Uh, like in PB or yeah, PB at a marathon is one world record at a marathon. Although I'm not sure how often I trust those world record at marathons. Those are like those new games or something.
Honestly, for me, I could probably get world record at GDQ if I literally just grinded the individual games instead of the full game right now. Because my current world record for the anthology run uses like 10 minutes or something really easily. So,
You should do
yeah.
that and tell the audience that like, hey, like I've practiced this a lot in sections, but there's a good chance for a technical world record here.
I mean, it all comes down to one game, which is Daggerfall.
Is that the
So,
first one?
no, it's the second one where there's a couple RNG sections. One of them is called Werewolf, and that one you have to find a werewolf in a dungeon, and the
Oh,
dungeon
it's total
is pretty
entendre.
big, and it spawns at a random location. So you have to just find it.
Nice.
So that could take anywhere from like 5 to 10 seconds to like 2 minutes, or not even
Gee,
2 minutes. Like even like you can't find it all at all because it like despawned or something. So you could literally just lose your run at
put
that
that on the bingo
section.
board.
Yeah, that's why I'll need a safety save for that. Like you don't have a lot of Daggerfall safety saves either. There's only like 6 saves files spots, and I think I want to use 2 during the run, so I would only have like 4 safety save locations. But I could probably find a workaround, so no worries.
Yeah. All right. All right. Is there anything else we make sure we're not missing on the life and streaming bit?
I think we covered everything I want to talk about there.
Yeah, there's some good lessons in there.
Yeah, just have fun.
Just
True.
have fun.
Yeah,
Forehead.
I
Yeah.
mean that's definitely the big thing where people just grind it because they want the time and not enjoying the time they're speedrunning. So, yeah. Okay, I think that kind of wraps it up then, since it's a bit shorter today, but it's still pretty decent of a length. Hour 40 minutes is pretty solid. Uh, but yeah, next week we'll see what we'll do. I want to try to get a special guest here next week that people hopefully won't or like will see, because I don't know, really want it to be special for episode number 7, the Halo number.
Secret surprise. Interesting.
So yeah, we'll see. And then I really, really do want to do a game show kind of thing. I just need to plan around it. It's been rough for me to schedule things like that while, doing GDQ practice and
Yeah, you're gonna
just
get event burnout
yeah,
if you're not careful.
yeah, that's true. I mean, all next month I'm probably not going to be doing the podcast as much. I think 3 weekends in a row I'll be busy, so I'll be talking to like Too Easy to schedule like a break the record event, and then maybe during the GDQ we could have possibly a IRL HaloRuns podcast, if not live pre-recorded.
Multiplayer tournament.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do
Yeah,
that.
that'd be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a controller, but we could probably just use the PCs in the main area.
Oh, the BatChat nerf. I feel like am I not surrounded by PC guys?
I think
I am
everyone is a PC person that's going.
the only controller. Yeah, watch me bring my USB-C cord just so I can plug it in.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, good times. Glad to have you on, Gelk.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
GDQ.
Yep, let me check
Yeah,
to
thank
see
you.
who we should host. So,
Who's the hyena hiding in the back?
oh,
Ready to-
Voltro Neon. He's doing some Halo 2 runs, looks like. Halo 2 legendary speedrun. So if you want to check it out, send a raid over. And yeah. Thank you once again, everyone, for watching, and hopefully you guys will tune in next week to see some more cool things. So yeah, see ya.
Awesome. Peace out, guys.